breaking news from CBS 2.
Good evening. I'm Joe Donlon, live in the CBS studios here in downtown Chicago. Thank you for joining us on our streaming service, CBS Chicago. We wanted to bring you up to date on a story that is breaking right now. At this hour, there are reports of an active shooter on the campus of Michigan State University in East Lansing. We have heard from the Michigan State Police that they are getting reports of multiple people injured. All of this very fluid at this point. Nothing has been confirmed. We just know that from the Michigan State Police, they are telling people to secure in place immediately. Police are active on the scene. More information to follow. That's the latest word from the Michigan State Police. Now, I can also tell you that there are at least reports that the suspect is on foot and still active. So police are active on the scene, as is this suspect. The last we heard was that, according to Michigan State Police, again, the suspect believed to be on foot right now, and the community members on and off campus should continue to shelter in place. There's another interesting development here. After the initial reports that people had been shot, there was another report, again, this coming from Michigan State Police, that there was another reported shooting at IM East. And as we have tried to research that a little bit more, that is the rec center on campus there in East Lansing. And just to give you a better idea of where this is, for those who are familiar with Michigan, it's basically in the middle of the state, essentially between Grand Rapids to the west and Detroit to the east. It's right in between, in the middle, of course, the home of Michigan State. So we are getting reports that there has been an active shooting that is still underway. There have been shots fired. Initially, the reports were near Berkey Hall on the campus. So people there were told to secure in place immediately. And again, that last tweet followed by more information will follow. So at this point, we know there's an active shooter on campus at Michigan State. We are getting reports from Michigan State Police that there are several reports of multiple injuries, and there's been a second shooting reported at IM East, which is the campus rec center there in East Lansing. So this suspect is on foot, still shooting, still on the loose, police still looking for them. And we do have, I think, a live picture from the scene. We just dipped in on that a little bit. We've been listening to the police traffic as well on the dispatch. There's a reporter in the shot right now. But community members have been told to shelter in place right now, both on campus and around it. There's a media staging area that's currently being set up and determined, so we would hope to get a little bit more information as soon as that gets set up. And as these situations usually are, it's very fluid. Things are happening. Police are still trying to obviously take care of the most important aspect of this, which is getting this gunman found and under and in custody. But again, right now, that suspect believed to be on foot, and it is after another reported shooting at IM East, which is the rec center there at Michigan State. You know, at this point, that's about all we have for the information, other than the fact that shots were fired initially, and it's unclear how many people. We've heard several reports of numbers, but I hesitate to pass those along because none of those have been confirmed. The best report on that we're getting is from Michigan State Police, who say, again, that they are getting reports that there are multiple injuries. So there's been at least one shooting scene, it appears, which is where this began, and that was near Berkey Hall. Those of you familiar with that campus, we're still trying to get ourselves a little bit better oriented with how this campus is laid out. But the second shooting then happened at IM East, which is the rec center. It's unclear to me how far away Berkey Hall, which we're looking at right now on this live picture from East Lansing, how far that is from IM East, how far the gunman would have traveled to get to IM East, which is the rec center. But you can see several police officers on the scene right now trying to get this situation under control and figure out what exactly has happened and what's happening right now with this gunman who's on foot, according to the last report from Michigan State Police. Let me just go back one more time and check and see if they've updated anything more on this. Shots fired near Berkey Hall, we knew that. Secure in place. That's the continued message from police there at Michigan State. They're urging people to obviously take shelter and stay hidden until this is resolved. And then there's the other reported shooting at IM East. Police responding. There are multiple reported injuries. This is how Michigan State is putting it. There are multiple reported injuries. And then they say the media staging area is currently being determined. And at that point, we will probably get much more information. But considering what's happening right now on the campus of Michigan State, I'm not even quite sure where they would set up some sort of a media briefing area, considering this gunman is still on the loose and they're telling everyone to shelter in place. Here's a map for those we were just trying to explain a little bit more. Lansing is, again, right in the middle of the state. There's Grand Rapids to the west, and then Detroit you can see to the east. So it's about 3.5 hours from Chicago. We are currently in the process of communicating with students from the Chicago area who are sheltering in place in the dark, and we're trying to connect with them right now, and we're hoping to bring you some information from them right there on the scene. Certainly they'll be able to provide us with a much better picture of how that campus is laid out, where these shootings that we know about happened, where they took place, and then how far apart they are, where this gunman could be heading on foot at least. We're trying also to get in a little bit more information about what we know more about that scene as well, and Michigan State University itself. So at this point, let's go back to the Michigan State Police feed, and I'll see if I can just quickly bring up anything else that they've put out. And again, keep in mind, they are in the process of handling an active shooter, so they're probably doing their best to update this when they can. And right now, yeah, no, this is just 7 minutes ago. IM East is being secured. It appears there is only one suspect at this time. So it does appear that this is a single gunman who is on the loose and at last check on foot. So IM East is the rec center we've been talking about. This is where the second reported shooting happened. And it is now, according to police, being secured. So whatever happened there, I don't know whether it's over, but it's in the process of being secured, as opposed to, notice the wording there, is secured. It's not secured yet, it's being secured. So my guess is the Michigan State Police and any other law enforcement in that area are now in the process of going through that rec center, IM East, and doing their best to make sure that that building is secure. And as for people in that area, it's unclear whether there were people in the rec center. I'm guessing on a Monday night, there probably are people working out, maybe playing basketball. What else is available in that area? But that is the second location where another shooting had been reported. And the first area is the area you're looking at right now, which is Berkey Hall on the East Lansing campus of Michigan State University. And again, you can see a heavy police presence here as that gunman continues to, at this hour anyway, roam the campus on foot. And I wish we could give you more information as far as how many people have been shot, how many people have been injured. We don't know that at this point, other than the fact that police say they are getting reports of multiple injuries. And the last report coming from Michigan State Police just about 7 or 8 minutes ago now, saying that that rec center is being secured, and it appears there is only one suspect at this time. But that suspect is still apparently on the loose. They have not been able to locate them. And at last word, they were on foot. And I'm looking forward to getting in touch with some of these folks we know who are on the ground there and taking shelter to give us a better idea of how this might have happened and where the gunman is headed on campus there, relatively speaking, to where Berkey Hall is, and then the second location of that additional shooting. IM East, yeah, okay. All right, so the word's still coming in, urging community members both on and off campus to continue to shelter in place. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'll reset here for just a second to let you know that we are following an active shooter, and you're looking at live images right now from Michigan State University. We do not know for sure how many people have been shot. We don't know how many people are injured. We've heard roughly some numbers, but I'm hesitant to pass those along until we know for sure, and those numbers have in fact been confirmed. So we'll just go with what police are saying now, that they're getting reports that there are multiple injuries. There were shots fired at Berkey Hall, and you can see the sign right there. That's where the initial shooting was reported as we look at these live images from East Lansing. And then shortly after that, there were reports of another shooting at IM East, which, as we understand it, is the rec center on campus there at Michigan State. The police are active on the scene, and we have just heard from Michigan State in the last few minutes on their Twitter feed anyway that there appears to be just one suspect at this time, but that one suspect is still on the loose and apparently roaming around campus and now shooting in at least 2 different locations. Police have done their best to try to secure the second shooting location, that being IM East, the rec center we've been talking about. But notice again, for those of you just joining us, they have not secured it apparently, but they are in the process of securing that building. There are, I guess, again, from Michigan State, there are multiple reported injuries. It's important to phrase it just as they have there, because they're not giving specific numbers, just that there are multiple reported injuries. One suspect, IM East, there is being secured. All right, so this is where it started about roughly 1 hour ago at Berkey Hall. And that's where there were reports of shots fired near Berkey Hall on the campus. So it does not appear, at least based on that wording, that it happened inside Berkey Hall. And I'm not sure if that's a dorm, if it's an educational building, if this is a classroom building where people would go for classes, or if that's more of a residence hall. Again, we're in touch with people who are taking cover right now, and as soon as they get into a position where they feel comfortable talking with us, we will bring them on the air with you here. Yeah, just again to reset, you can see now the police starting to move around campus, and several first responders lined up there. I couldn't tell. Oh, we don't have control of this camera. That's right. I wasn't sure if that was a row of ambulances. Could you tell, or were those police vehicles? Okay, so it was ambulances. So, which is another thing, when you watch live video from a scene like this, when you don't have a lot of information, there are often several nuggets and things you can sort of put together on what you don't see and what you do see. So for us to see several ambulances lined up there says to all of us clearly that they are prepared in the event that there are a number of injuries. And what will happen, you'll see this, for example, at a mall shooting, we've seen ambulances line up. Oftentimes you'll see them go in to remove the injured. At this point, it's unclear where the people who are injured are right now. If they're outside Berkey Hall, if obviously it's safe for first responders to go in there and get the injured out. But it's also unclear at this point whether there have been any ambulances that have come and gone with the injured who are on scene right now. But this is the first shooting location. Berkey Hall reports of multiple injuries, at least at this first location. And then I would say, again, that was an hour ago when this initial report came in. About 20 minutes ago, there was report from Michigan State Police that there was another reported shooting at IM East, which is the rec center. So we have that we know of at least 2 shooting locations. We have an active shooter who remains on the loose, on foot in that campus area, and residents there in the community and on campus both are being urged to shelter in place, to take shelter wherever they are and to wait this out. There was also an update. Taryn, maybe we can put that up as well. The order from, I think it was a tweet from, if it wasn't from Michigan State Police, it was from someone on campus there who was urging people to shelter in place. Scroll up if we can on this, Taryn. Taryn's our director here. Okay. Maybe we can get a better image of the specific tweet that I was talking about that was urging people to, it was the first bit of news we got. Let me see if I can find this somewhere else here. Hang on. These are all the updates that I've been telling you about. So This is the, I believe this is the Michigan State Police Twitter feed. Here's the report. So police and other emergency services are responding to reports of an active shooting at Michigan State University. Witnesses say there are multiple victims, and this from MSU police reporting shots fired incident occurring on or near the East Lansing campus. Secure in place immediately. Run, hide, fight. This was the report from Michigan State Police as an alert to students who were in that area there on campus, telling them, again, this was, let me see by my check, roughly 1 hour ago. So this is right after we had heard the initial report that there was an active shooter on campus. We got this report that Michigan State Police were reporting shots fired and that they are urging people to secure in place immediately, followed by run, hide, fight, which unfortunately are 3 words we've come to know in connection with these school shootings and what we've learned as a result to try to stop them and keep them from getting worse. Run, hide, fight if confronted. Difficult to hear those 3 words when you think of the people who are obviously sheltering in place right now, unsure of what is happening outside on campus at Michigan State University at this hour and what the latest is on the gunman. And complicating all of this, of course, is the fact that it's nighttime. So at here, what are we now, going on 9 o'clock at night? There are clearly a lot of people who are in the dark, both figuratively and literally, wondering what's happening with this gunman who's on the loose on campus at Michigan State University. So we have 2 different shooting locations. We know that at this point. One of them is Berkey Hall, which we had a picture of here just a minute ago. And again, that's unclear if that's a residence hall or if it's a building for classes. And then roughly 20 minutes ago, there was another reported shooting at IM East, the rec center on campus there. Police are active, as we've seen, on the scene right there on campus. The suspect, again, believed to be on foot. And at this point, just to make clear, witnesses say there are multiple victims. Witnesses say. Police are saying basically that. Let me get back to that page because I want to, again, make sure we get the wording on this correct. Because no one wants to say for sure what's happening as far as injuries. No one wants to have the wrong number out there and make anybody any more nervous or worried than they are already. So let's get back to this here. Multiple injuries reported. Where is that? Here we go. Yeah, okay. So police, as they put it, was that, that there were multiple reports of, let me get to this again. Multiple reported injuries. So again, witnesses are saying there are multiple injuries. Police are saying there are multiple reported injuries. So until we get a better idea of exactly what's happening there, that's probably the best we're going to get, other than the fact that we can now see some of the people who are coming out with blankets wrapped around them. I'm hoping that this would be a positive sign, at least that maybe this area has been cleared and the police are allowing those folks who have been taking shelter and hiding in place are now being allowed to come out. So this might be a good development here. The other thing we mentioned a little while ago now is worth reminding you that they are now in the process of putting together a media staging area, and that, of course, is where the media would gather for information from a public information officer of the Michigan State Police right there, or any other law enforcement who can bring folks up to date. But again, at this stage, with this still being an active shooter situation, police have their hands full, obviously taking care of what's happening right now, not to mention the fact that they're trying and doing their best and doing a pretty darn good job, actually, of keeping us posted on Twitter. Speaking of which, let me just check one more time and see if there's been any updates from them, because the last one came in just about 8 or 9 minutes ago. All right, let's in the meantime take a look here at the government. The governor's office has issued a statement here. I'm having a hard. That's too far away for me to see, Terrence, so I can't read it. I'm hoping. I've been briefed on the shooting at MSU. Michigan State Police, along with the MSU Police, local law enforcement, and first responders are on the ground. Let's wrap our arms around the Spartan community tonight. We will keep everyone updated as we learn more. So that message from the governor tonight. Well, it's certainly a difficult way to come off of the weekend here on a Monday night, especially on campus there at Michigan State, to have this happen with an active shooter. At this point, again, we don't know a whole lot about the number of people injured. We do know there's an active shooter, and that shooter is not necessarily active, but still on the loose, believed to be on foot after 2 reported shootings, one at Berkey Hall and the second at IM East, which is the rec center there at Michigan State University. All right, we're going to take a break for just a second and try to get a few more things lined up and hopefully get in touch with some of our Chicago area students who are at Michigan State and taking shelter, and also try to get the latest information as far as the number injured and where we stand right now with this active shooter. So back with much more here on our stream, CBS Chicago. We'll see you soon.
This has been breaking news from CBS 2.